framed that as a practical gesture in terms of it being a tool to help side, to help, my brother Ndebele, Zenzele, to reach even the remotest of areas and continue preserving national, memory, because their work is looking into history, the things that have happened in our history. So that is an important job that they are doing. But upon hearing, this news, the reaction that has come from the public has been has been anything but straightforward. Because Zenzel Ndebele is known widely for his investigative work. Especially, his documentation of, Gukura Hundi. And this is a subject that is historically, placed him at odds with the state, with the government. He was even arrested in 2019, I think. He was put under, surveillance. There are reports of him being surveyed. I mean, being under, surveillance, and also pressure being put on his organization side. And putting all this together, they have created or they've contributed to a perception of him as an independent journalist who operates under scrutiny rather than favor. So that is what most people have come to characterize his work, who come to know him. So when this news broke out that he was given a government vehicle, or the government donated or the government gifted him, there were so many questions that people asked in terms of what is it has changed, what changed. Some were asking if whether this was recognition of the important work that he was doing, or it was an attempt by the government to want to soften a critical voice, especially at this moment that we are finding ourselves in, the CAP 3 moment, or the CAST, or the CAA 3 moment, the Constitutional Amendment Act moment. Some even, inquired, and some even asked whether is the government genuinely supporting, journalism, or it is part of a broader pattern of political patronage? And these are real questions that folks, were asking. These are real questions that people, were asking. Because I could see from the post, from the comments, from the whatever that was being posted, by people. And that question itself, which is a question of patronage, is again led us, or is leading us again today into another story that is unfolding. The story of Thomas Mapfumo, the Chimurenga maestro, the Chimurenga music icon, who is known for his uncompromising political stance, right? And the reports that, or even the confirmation from him, it's no longer a report, because this has been confirmed. He confirmed it. Wikinology has confirmed it, that he has accepted invitations to perform at Jah Praiser's wedding and at Wikinology's birthday celebration. It's there in black and white. It's there. There's a video that is there. But this is coming at a time, or this coming after we know where Mapfumo stood before. He is one of the few musicians who has previously stated publicly that he would not accept money from Chivayo. And Chivayo, I mean, is well known for his lavish gifting of cars and cash to public figures, and he has sparked national debate about influence, ethics, and political proximity. And on the basis of all those things, in the previous encounters or in the previous promises, the Chimurenga maestro would say, I will never accept money from a person like Jivai. Mari dzematsotsi, mari dzekubva kumbavha. But he has said, well, anyway, there's a little bit of background into this because Kurai Makore, his nephew, he came out. He was uh, he was spoken to by one of the tabloids in Zimbabwe, where he said he was giving advice to his uncle to say, "Hey, this is the last mile. Just take the money. Do what is supposed to be done. Take the money." And it seems as if that right there, that advice, right there, whether it is him who convinced his uncle or it is out of his own conscience, whether there was no influence, but the reality and what we are facing today and what has been broken today is that the reality. Yekuti Wamukanya has agreed to go to Zimbabwe to perform at Japreza's wedding, to also perform at Wikinovai's party, birthday party, as well as going to do a Janagu, a Bira Guru Rechimurenga, these music shows. But Mkanya has come out and said this is not political. It is simply work. It is simply payment for work. I am going to be working and I am going to be paid. It's only that the person that is said they want me to come and perform, they'll pay me 500,000 to perform at Jab Praiser's wedding and another 500,000 to perform at their um birthday. So in total, is going to be getting 1 million US dollars. And that is a lot of money. Haisi mari yekutombotamba nayo. Imari chai chai, mari shinu chai chai. And Mkanya is going to be, getting that money. So when you say this is not political, previously, I remember there was a gesture to give him a car, no strings attached. There was nothing, Shivaya even said, look, this has got nothing to do with this is not politically, connected. I'm just giving you a car in appreciation of the role that you've played. You're a legend. You deserve recognition. But he turned those down in the previous encounters. So it is simply payment for work. It is a musician performing for a client, a professional doing his job. This, the world over is full of these examples. I remember there was even one time when was it Rihanna or Beyonce that got paid $1 million to just go and perform, for 30 minutes. Of course, you might say that you cannot compare Mapfumo and Beyonce, but this is the equivalent. This is the likes of Anachivayo are the equivalent of the oligarchs in Russia. Those who are known for bringing in musicians to just come in and do a 30-minute set and they go and pay these people wild amounts of money. But then again, just in the same way that people have reacted to Zenzele's news that his organization or his work has been gifted with a off-road vehicle designed to help him to reach remote areas and continue his work, which is preserving national memory. People have reacted, to that. Some people even said, you can't be, you can't be, you can't say what you're saying to Zenzele because none of you guys have even volunteered to say, my brother, the work that you're doing great work. We want to support the cause. We want to support you. So here is money for you to do what you're doing. And there are people who are saying, Wamkanya, listen to your inner voice. Don't listen to people. You have done enough for the country. You are an icon. Sometimes people need to be given their flowers when they are still alive. And this is one example of you being given your flowers whilst you're still alive. That is what other people are saying, right there. Some people are even saying, don't listen to the naysayers because these guys, they're coming from the thinking of opposition activism. On one hand, they are saying, don't accept, the money from these Ganandas, but on the other hand, you are dealing with these Ganandas, defending the Ganandas, courts of law, and you are being paid by these Ganandas. Let Mkanya go out there and sing and get paid. Because that's the nego ni jamuneita imimi. Ibasaka. Somebody was doing a professional job. He's just a professional going to be doing his job. It's not like he just is being given money for going there and sitting amongst the invited guests and do nothing. But then again, we cannot rule out that for many Zimbabweans, the optics that we are seeing here, the optics are complicated. When you see an individual that has long been a symbol of resistance, a voice that challenged authority, corruption, and state excess, his music being used as a soundtrack for political consciousness. When he appears at an event hosted by a figure whose wealth, influence, and political connections are constantly scrutinized, people begin to ask, naturally, they ask whether this is signaling a shift. But he has told you that this is not political. I'm just out there to earn money, to make some money. This is, my last rodeo. How many times did Mukanya say, this is my last dance? Mukanya has told us, this is my last dance. He came to Leicester and said, this is my last dance. I think he went to South Africa, this is my last dance. This is my last rodeo. But people are asking whether he is shifting. His work alone, he could have been a somebody, millionaire or 100 millionaires or whatever. Because his work, but he was robbed of that opportunity to occupy that status. By the very same people that he criticized yesterday, And now he's being given 1 million by a person who supports the very same people that he criticized yesterday. So there's no good gesture here. But then again, I'm saying this is how people are reacting. So when you're looking at these two cases, the perception that the state and those close to it are increasingly extending gifts, payment, and invitations to individuals who hold cultural or narrative power in the hope of not only neutralizing them, but bringing them into the pool of those that support what they are doing. You can think of it as a perception that generosity may sometimes function as a political tool. Because that is the pattern that is beginning to be emerging. And if you believe, then you may not be far off from having this perception. You might begin to be having another perception that speaks to the issues of public figures who we once saw as independent, critical, or resistant, and now being drawn willingly or unwillingly into the orbit of state influence. But whether these are fair or not, but it is precisely what the people are debating on social media. So many questions are being raised, but one that sits at the deeper end of this conversation is, what does independence look like in a political environment where gifts, payments, and invitations often carry a symbolic weight? That is a profound question right there. I saw it somewhere. It's a question being asked. So for journalists, when we talk about the aspect of independence, it is the foundation of credibility. For artists like Mukanya, when you speak about independence, it is the foundation of authenticity. And for us as the public, as the Zimbabweans, as the citizens, when we are looking at the aspect of independence, we are looking at it from the perspective of it being the foundation of trust. So when you see these, donations, of course, there's a justification, for them. But in the greater scheme of things, whether it is a government vehicle being given to a journalist, or whether it is a legendary protest musician in the form of Thomas Mapfumo being invited to perform at a politically charged celebration. It is going to be politically charged anyway, because you're already seeing the narratives. Or ZANU-PF ihomwe inokwana munhu wese, or everyone has got a price, and Chivayo is the maker, is the price maker. And we know this individual is a politically connected individual. So it is not far off to say whatever it is that is going to be happening with these celebrations are going to be politically charged celebrations. And when you see that association, people begin to worry. Not necessarily about corruption, but about the erosion of symbolic distance that must be existing between power and those who speak about it. As I bring this to a close, I want us to also acknowledge the nuances that we can get from this. We need to acknowledge those. As I say, this is not about bashing these individuals, but I want us to also understand that when you're looking at a journalist, they need resources for them to perform. They need resources to work. A musician needs money. They need to be paid for their craft. Hours upon hours. These guys, have you ever seen them in the studio? Perfecting, their craft. At the end of the day, they're doing that because they need to get paid. And there's also one thing that we need, to acknowledge and understand, that not every transaction is political. I know you can argue on the basis of the context, that we're talking about, but it is something that can never be escaped. That nuance, right there, we can never escape, that nuance. We always have to appreciate all those things. But then again, as I said, earlier on, in a country where political generosity is often or is being used to shape narratives, reward, loyalty or neutralize criticism, where we continue to have that right to ask questions about the motive, questions about the timing, questions about whether these gestures, questions on what these mean for the future of media independence, artistic freedom, and civic trust. So as I said, I'm opening up, this thing. I'm not here to judge either of this individual, but we're just here to try to examine the environment in which their decisions are being interpreted. An environment where power, patronage, and public perception are deeply intertwined. But then again, I will reiterate and re-emphasize, this point. That this is not about a car, or this is not about a performance of some sort. It is about the delicate balance between state power and societal voices. How easily trust can be shaken, and how important it is to protect the independence of those who inform, inspire, and challenges. Once again, thank you very much for joining me. Welcome to the space. That is the introduction, that is the topic. Let's delve into your reaction. Mwendas, Magadi Magadi.
Moshe Yamashita say,
Ah, tungodaro ndekuno
I
Mwendas.
I'm here to judge. One guy, what's up, my brother? I hope
Yeah.
everybody is doing well.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You see, Nyamashisaka, it doesn't matter what in the Mapfumo, Nyangwe Vachamisa. When you sell the struggle, you have sold. He has failed. You see, we have to come to extent that we all his history he's already erasing it because Musuno he came out and said nyangwe ndine motikari yangu ine ngura ndinodhriva motikari yangu iyoyo handibate mari dzevana. So the problem is right now he's trying you see because of his name you'll be trying to sanitize now ana nigini ana japres and so forth ezve tatosara takutongodhipenda na wingi d ndo asara wedu. So you'll find out to be principled integrity. You don't have to justify it kuti now I have to deal with these people because of this and this. He has failed. Mapfumo, if he goes and perform over there and get that money, he is no longer with us. Everything that he has been saying, it's fake to us right now. Because as an integrity person, a principled person, you keep on going no matter how difficult it is. Nyangwevini, you need that money. You have to stay with the struggle. He has failed, and you find out every day, Nyamashisha. There's a lot of pressure from people. I see a lot of people saying, you can take this money, you need this money. And some other people have been debating on spaces. Kuti, get the money and to do something for the people. No, mari yekuba ndeyekuba. And I'm telling you, if Mapfumo will be actually trying to sanitize Chivayo, mari yake iri clean. You cannot go and get paid from the money ingakabirwa the nation. Trust me, Nyango Mapfumo akapuwa mari iyaya, no matter what he's gonna try and do with that money, it's and hapana zvazvinobatsira, because isusu we have got the channel, a government who is supposed to look after Zimbabwe the right way. Right now we are under Cap 3, which was signed illegally. And then we got a somebody. Mapfumo is not a small person. Somebody who has been talking about this corruption and all that, and you go and get that money. Ayo, Mapfumo is off. Nyango music yake yese pa playlist yangu yese ndikutodzima, and pese nyangwe handi muzachi nyama nyango pamatepi ndichine music yake pamatepi aya atairola nenginini Eva Shapa yamunoaziya kanyama zvaya. Ndakutonopisa matepi ayo kuarasa kwapisa, because I mean, like, he has let down a lot of upcoming musicians. He has let down a lot of people who have been trying to fight for the struggle. Right now tine issue yokuti we want to fight kuti this bill, we have to get on the street and say no to this. And now he comes in and accepting money yenginie ropa ayo ano Mapfumo. eh, ndosaka chizonzi kyangwe Christianity nyamashi zvaka, unogona kuti mukristu for 40 years, but ukazongotadza before wakufa hauende kudenga. Handi ndozvinotaurwa rikiri nyamashi zvaka nebhaibheri. Alo, nyamashi zvamuripo here? Alo, am I still audible?
Yes, we can hear
Oh,
you
go
right.
ahead,
Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. Bible rinotaura kuti you can be a Christian the whole of your life, but ukazoita
Uh-huh.
esini kwokupedzisira unoenda kugenda. Zvimwe zvese zvawakaita zviye zvisina kana basa rese ndozvaita Mapfumo izvozvo. So
But Mwenas,
mm.
are you not coming from a place of somebody who had emotionally invested in Kanye's legacy, and knowing that his music has been tied to political resistance for decades? So when you're looking at what he has done, you're looking at him as somebody who's now moving closer to or who's moving closer to to power, and this is why you are raising this question. But are you not, by you saying that you saw the struggle, are you not oversimplifying a complex situation here of an individual who is a professional, a musician, being invited to perform at a wedding or birthday party, and in exchange you'll be given money, even for somebody who is controversial like Chivayo? I mean, it may not necessarily be a political endorsement or endorsement of what Chivai is known for, but it's simply saying that I'm just here to do work.
No, nyamashis.
Mm.
You see, that's what I'm saying. Kuti, you don't have to be technical with this one. Kuti is doing work. No, you do
Yeah.
work with people who are clean. The money you are gonna get is the money which everybody is fighting to take out ZANU PF out of power, and you go and grab that money. You are part wadzia moto wempava. That's what we are saying. And to make matters worse, there are other people that ana mukunun'unu vaya vasina kana basa navo ava vari kupuwa motikari atongozwa kuti ndeve ikoko ava vagara variko. But a person like Mapfumo, we don't expect him to do this stupid thing. To me, it's stupid. And I'm telling you, whatever he has done is gonna affect a lot of people who are looking up to him. And now anybody else anekamukurumbira angachita look up to him akaoffer chinhu anenge angoaccepta kuti kana Mapfumo akaaccepta inini ndotadza nekuaccepta, which means it's going to cause a lot of chaos now. People will be just accepting other people who are saying no, because
But okay, let me
so
give
we
you
cannot
let
we
me give you
cannot just
okay, let me give you an example. Example, yeah, Nzani. Yeah, 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 Rutendo. There was a period where Rutendo was with us here, agreeing with the sentiments that Cap 3 is a dangerous amendment. Cap 3, the way it is being done is not the right way, etc., etc. But upon receiving a donation, a donation and an invitation to this so-called round table conversation, he changed his narrative. He started to be in even endorsing political figures. But Mukanya is not doing that. I mean, we haven't seen him endorsing anything. He's just saying that it is payment for work. uh, It is payment, for work. Unless unless he changes, his messaging and begins to endorse a political. Do you think that would be the right time now to to calm down on him and say but mdara uyu utafamba neyo mdara uyu.
As Mokanya is actually endorsing ZANU PF now, the whole ZANU PF is not endorsing individuals. The whole ZANU PF is endorsing them kuti hai mimi pamberi nemi because zvamanoita mari dzamunoba dzese I can come and get it. That's what he's doing. He is out of line.
Yeah,
He's out of line. Akana even music yake ndaimboenda mashows ake pauya kunoka akauya chai ndinokambena kuti vanhu vasaenda. He's off. Kana kuri kuti akuziva kuti akunofa ka aiwa ndaadye mari dzembavha achiziva kuti ari kudya mari dzembavha and is no longer with us. He's endorsing the whole ZANU PF what he's doing. Otherwise pamwe angatori mutengesi paanga ari kwedu kusaidi kwedu uno, because like if you give an example matinyarara has been a sellout to us all the time. I don't know why people were even propping him up paakamboya achitaura pepe.
yeah,
We knew his character kudhara kuti munhu wekuti ari kutsvaga mari anongoenda kuri kuita sei kune mari kukununa mari. Yeah, otherwise I'm telling you nyamasvisva ka Zimbabwe is gonna like Francis Anotaura, we need new leaders. We gonna Zimbabwe right now. It needs people who are very tough and very dedicated to the
mhm,
struggle of the people, because nyaya yemari inonetsa. And the
right,
temptation, even if you look at mama churches akawanda, you have seen a lot of churches pastor anenge achingotaura kuti matites, but they are no longer concentrating on how people should repent and go to heaven. Vakungotsvaga mari. So you find out that this world is now corrupt zvokuti people who've got the heart of the people, they are just a few.
right.
And yeah, the moment we discover somebody doesn't care about people, we part ways. That's what I just say. I'll yield my mic so that other people can say, well, that chip in. Thank you,
Thank you
Nyamasisa.
very much, Mendas. Yeah, I hear you. Thank you very much.